Haney Biz presents Entrepreneurs Unlimited. Here's your host, Mark Haney.
All right, welcome back to the show. We are here with Dan Morash, founder and CEO of California Safe Soil. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing great, thanks, Mark.
Great. Thank you for coming down on a Saturday and sharing your story. You and I met the other day at a pitch contest or a pitch opportunity where you were pitching California Safe Soil at Capitalize. Our good friends Monique Brown and Jack Crawford were putting on that big event. And when you and I met, I was so amazed at how professional you were, and it was obvious that you had done that kind of thing before. I'm assuming you have. But tell us a little bit about California Safe Soil.
Sure. We're a startup company based in West Sacramento. I'm actually from New Jersey, an investment banker with a background in a variety of technologies like wind, solar, geothermal, waste to energy. And so this technology came along. I put a group together. We own the rights to the IP, and California was the right place to do this because we were University of California at Davis is the number one ag school in the country.
Right.
Well, some others would object to that, but that was my view anyway.
Uh-huh.
And being near Sacramento and the regulatory community there, if you're going to build any kind of plant, you need to know your way around the regulations. So that's why we set up shop here in 2012 and built a pilot plant in West Sacramento in order to demonstrate the technology. It's very simple. We take food waste from supermarkets and we convert it into fertilizer for farms.
So it's an environmentally friendly approach, and so that makes California a better place to build a business? Or was it mainly the UC Davis connection?
Well, my friends in New Jersey thought I was nuts for trying to start a business in California because it doesn't have a business-friendly reputation.
Right.
But I think in an environmental business like this, there are definitely things that we've experienced over the last several years where people have helped us.
So let's talk about the actual process. You take food from a grocery store, and then you do what with it?
Okay. We digest it, we pasteurize it, and we stabilize it. So digesting is just like what happens in your stomach at lunch. We use enzymes that are in your stomach, and so we take the proteins, fats, and carbohydrates from food that the supermarkets it's no longer safe to sell. It's the end of its life. So then we grind it up. We use enzymes to break it down into amino acids, fatty acids, and simple sugars. And then we pasteurize it for food safety.
Okay.
And by then it's a liquid because food is about 75% water to begin with. And so that's a liquid full of nutrients that at the farm they can run it through the drip lines right into the root zone to grow the next crop.
Okay, so it actually becomes a kind of fertilizer.
Exactly.
Okay, so the food gets digested, gets it put into this liquid form, and then you sell it to farmers?
Yes, exactly. Organisms that live in the soil eat the same food that you and I do.
Okay, interesting. And is it smell as bad as what it sounds like it might smell?
No, actually.
Running through the digestion does not sound good.
We've operated this facility for 4 years in a large warehouse. We have a 4,000 square foot suite and a 40,000 square foot warehouse. And the Board of Equalization is in 4 of the suites in this same building as office space.
And they don't mind it, huh?
They haven't issued a single complaint in the 4 years that we've been there.
That's great. So, so you're an investment banker, and a lot of people listening might not know exactly what that is, but it's obviously in the financial community. So you've been around putting deals together, right?
Yes, project finance in energy and infrastructure. So food and energy are two different sides of the same coin. We saw that with the whole ethanol debate back in the 2000s when a lot of additional ethanol capacity was built, and as a result, the price of corn and the price of food went up because so much corn was being used to produce ethanol. So really, this is a question of there's value in food that's being wasted. 30 to 40% of all the food that's produced in this country gets wasted. It's pathetic. And so we're trying to do something positive with it. And you can repurpose those nutrients and grow more crops, grow the next next round of crops.
Right, very environmentally friendly, and is it affordable? Is it as affordable as traditional fertilizer?
Yes, that's the whole point. Is that when you have a very low cost of acquiring your raw materials, low cost of capital, and low operating expenses, you can produce a competitive finished product that then increases productivity for the farmer and puts money in their pocket.
So I'm kind of a baseball guy. We were talking about baseball at the beginning of the show, and you're putting the deal together. You're trying to get a proof of concept. What inning are you in at California Safe Soil?
I'd say about the third inning.
You're at the third inning. Okay, so you guys are pretty far down the path.
Well, out of 9.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's not Little League. We're not going 6 innings. So you're a third of the way through. You've got your proof of concept. Are you looking for funding today? Not at this moment.
Startup companies are always in the market. When you close a deal, you've got to start thinking the next morning about your next deal and where you're going with the company, because it takes a long lead time to go out and raise capital. And you can grow the company as fast as possible, but if you haven't lined up your next round of capital, then you have to wait until you're able to do that.
And what kind of financing or capital are you looking for?
Well, we actually just closed our first loan financing, and with New Resource Bank out of San Francisco, which I was very happy about that. Prior to that, we've raised over $12 million in angel capital, basically from high net worth investors and from impact investors, because this is a sustainable ag program. So, for example, there's a program that Patagonia has called 20 Million and Change, and they invested in our company. And another organization called Sustainable America, which is interested in promoting sustainability efforts.
Is that a charitable organization?
It's not.
Okay, it kind of sounds like it might be. So these are financial institutions that are focused on investing into startups like yourself.
Exactly.
Okay. And where do you see it going over the next 5 to 10 years? I mean, is this going to really blow up? What's it going to do for Sacramento?
Well, we want to see 100 of these plants built across the country in the next 5 or 8 years. And so we've licensed the technology outside of California to one of our partners who's a big, successful developer. And that way we're able to engage with the national scale supermarkets because the idea is to build these plants in a warehouse right next door to the distribution centers that the supermarkets use to supply their stores, because then their trucks go out to supply the stores, they come back empty to the distribution center. Well, they can have all of their food waste in these containers that we use that are double-walled insulated containers that keep the food as fresh as possible. So, that's one of the key issues in the technology is if you have a plant that doesn't smell, no nuisance odors, no effluent, no solid waste. We recycle 100% of what we take in, and as a result, we're able to get permitted in urban areas near where the food is. So that eliminates an entire haul of waste away to the landfill, which is a key part of the efficiency of what we're doing is to eliminate that haul by co-locating with distribution centers.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, I have 2 final questions. If I'm investing into the company, what would my exit strategy be? Is there a plan to partner with some people in the future, and so I could get my money back?
The exit strategy would likely be to strategic players who are either in the hauling business or in the ag business.
Ag business, okay.
And
you said the hauling business?
Yes.
Okay, hauling fertilizer.
Hauling waste.
Hauling waste. Okay.
Or in the rendering business, for example. Technically, we are licensed as a renderer. Companies with that kind of background, or in the fertilizer business, or in the ag business, or the big 6 crop science companies. There's what we have fortuitously discovered is there's a lot of research going on in the Davis area in biological agriculture. The idea is to replace chemical pesticides and fertilizers with biological agents that improve the soil and improve the health of plants. Well, there's all this research going on, and we're sitting right in the middle of it. We're across the street from Bayer Crop Science their new $70 million lab in West Sacramento.
Yeah, and I was looking at my final, as we kind of wrap up into the final question or the final thought of this segment, thinking about the power of with, and with the right people around you, me, we can do incredible things. And I know your board is, I looked on your website and I looked at the board and the team that you're building. What's been the key to, just if you could sum it up in 2 or 3 words, what's been the key to getting that right team around you?
Alignment of interest is the key. It's not only having the right people with the right skill, but to get everybody to pull together, and everybody to think about the best what's in the best interests of the company as a whole, rather than what do they need to get.
The same commitment. It's just any time, whether it be in football, baseball, or building a business, or even a family, if everybody's got the same commitment, that crossover of commitment, anything is possible. And okay, so we're doing this exercise where we got this bottle of marbles here. And Greg, can you kind of come in here and help me out with this? Greg has brought down a bottle of marbles, and it's his story. And so I'm gonna share it with you. But he says that if you get a group of 5 or more people together to guess the number of marbles in this jar, that the average of all the guesses is more accurate than any of the guesses individually. So I guessed 225. What did you guess?
250. You
guessed 250. And we had Tom and Marcus took a guess. Greg, jump on in here and let us know what the outcome is.
Yeah, this is amazing. Dan, you really are a genius. I've done this maybe 100 times, and this is the first time any individual guess has been closer.
Oh.
So those of you who have a chance to invest in California Safe Soil, you better get on this
He's
guy.
a genius. Okay, he was the closest then.
Dan was 250. The actual number is 252.
Oh, wow.
The average estimate was 233. The high guess was 342.
Okay.
And the low guess was 41.
The low guess was 41?
Yeah.
Who was that?
I'm not sure.
Chris in the control room has raised his hand. Chris, you're killing. Do not go into business with Chris unless you want somebody at a completely other end of the spectrum. And you know what, Chris? You do balance us out. So we are happy to have you here. It balances ourselves out. We're committed to the same goal, building a radio show, building a community that really inspires entrepreneurs, that really takes a passion for making this community what it can be. And I want to thank you very much for being on the show today, Dan. I want to thank Chris Ewing for joining us on the show. I want to thank our sponsor, Limitless Limo, LL916.com. I want to mention again that if you want more Mark Haney, and a lot of you do not. But if you do, you can go to our Facebook page or haneybiz.com, and I'm making a series of shorter videos that are really a kind of a Coach Haney, how to build your small business, some of the mistakes I've made through the School of Hard Knocks. And I want to share that with you guys. If we can help you build your dream, then I win as well. And I want you to stick around because I'm going to have some closing thoughts that are going to give you a better understanding of the essence of why I'm doing this show and a better understanding of what the power of with means to me. I'm going to share my closing thoughts when we come back, and together we are going to find a way to change the world. This is Entrepreneurs Unlimited on Sports 1140 KHTK, streaming live, podcast, and YouTube at haneybiz.com. You know what? I think that today's show was pretty impactful. We talked about the power of with at the beginning, and with the right business partner, with the right people around us, we can do so much more. With the right person or team, we can get anything we want in life. We can build businesses like what Chris Ewing has built with Sherry's Berries, and now with One Inc., and then also what Dan Morash is doing. He's about to build a really significant company, and it's based right here in our region, and it's really cool. And I think as I flash back in time a little bit, thinking about why we started the Haney Biz project, and I had left my I'd left my job, after selling off some of the companies and thinking about what I wanted to do in my life. And I thought about, what am I passionate about? What do I know? And, what am I passionate about? And I think some of the stuff is you got to surround yourself with people who know things other than what you know that can help you. And it's the power of with that is so impactful. And so I thought about what do I want to do and who would I want to be helping me with it? I thought, okay, I know what it's like to be the parent of two great kids. And one is a Marine. And I know that coaching sports is something that I've always loved. And I know I've always had some fun building businesses. And so I had some experience in some of these areas. I knew what I knew, and I knew about the power of with. I knew what that meant. I knew that 1 + 1 = 3. If you have the right people with the right crossover of commitment, with you have the right complementary strengths, shoot, anything is possible. And so I remember thinking, I care about my family, I care about my friends, and I care about my community. And so that's why we started the Allegiant Giving Project, and that's why we started the Allegiant Giving Partners. And together, the partners can do so much more. And for those of you guys that don't know what that is, it has an advertisement that we talk about, but really a group of businesses have come together, and we call them the Allegiant Giving Partners, to figure out a way to help our community. And our focus is in young people and the heroes of today. So our focus is on today's heroes and tomorrow's leaders. And together with these complementary strengths, these businesses are finding a way to change our community. And so I just want to take a minute to thank my partner businesses that are helping build this. And I think together, we're unstoppable. And what inspired me really was really the idea of patriotism. I grew up in this town, and my son being in the Marines, and we could create something that was kind of a hometown patriotism, right? Where you're really committed to our community, because not everybody can go off and serve in the military. And I remember not really understanding what patriotism was until 9/11, and I don't even know that I really have a true understanding of what the word patriotism means. But I remember after 9/11, I saw the way the country kind of came together after those terrorist attacks, and how just everything was different, and how we strengthened as families and it really as a community and as a country. And on that day, I witnessed the power of with. And I gained a better understanding of the true meaning of the word patriotism. And my nephew, AJ, joined the Marines and did a couple of tours of combat. My son Marcus joined the Marines. He did some time in Afghanistan, and both these guys saw combat and saw some of the terrible, horrible things in war. But I remember when Marcus was deploying, as these guys were getting ready to get on the bus to go to Afghanistan, to go to the air base to fly overseas. I remember him and his buddies, this certain bond that it's hard to explain, but the way you could tell that they were bonded together. And as they drove off on those buses together with those solemn faces and that determination to go do something important, and there I was back with the women and children. It was the most humbling experience of my life to see the real men going off to fight, while the old people and the women and children hung back. And I think at that moment, in that day, I witnessed the power of with. And on that day, I gained a better understanding of the true meaning of the word patriotism. And so he goes off to fight, and, about a month later, his wife Lauren has a baby, beautiful Hunter. and I didn't get a chance to talk to Marcus a lot while he was over there because he was busy. And but I was invested in the Allegiant Giving Partner Program and helping the heroes. I was down in San Diego, and we were helping the wounded warriors that were down in the San Diego Balboa Hospital. And I was down there with some other guys, and we were just trying to do what we can for these guys that were playing basketball, had lost both legs. And anyway, that's what the Allegiant Giving Partners is all about. And anyway, so I'm down there in San Diego in Balboa in May. Marcus leaves in mid-March. And then on June 7th, just a couple weeks after I was down at Balboa, I get a call, and it's Marcus in the middle of the night. My wife and I laying in bed in the middle of the night and turn on the phone, and it's Marcus. And he's got his voice is lower, and he says, "Hey, guys, I'm coming home." And we're like, "What? Are you okay? Are you okay?" And he had been shot in the leg, and he was just waking up from his first surgery. And about 3 or 4 days later, we end up, ironically, right back at Balboa Hospital.
The same place.
The same place that I had been 2 weeks earlier. And now my son is there, having been shot. And so he, after he wakes up from his, I think it was his third surgery, and I just remember this moment like it was yesterday. And I remember he was able to, his wife put his son Hunter in his arms as he was laying in the hospital bed. And the way that Marcus lit up when he held Hunter for the first time, on that day, I witnessed the power of with. And I gained a better understanding of the true meaning of the word patriotism. And so I would invite any of you to help me and the Allegiant Giving Partners come down, help do what we can do to change this world. You know what? We all do what we can do, whether you're a firefighter, a police officer, a school teacher, a high school football coach, or a guy that's providing jobs as an entrepreneur. That's hometown patriotism in my book, ladies and gentlemen. And I invite you to come down and share with the Allegiant Giving Partners what we are trying to accomplish, investing in today's heroes and tomorrow's leaders. Never above you, never below you, always by your side.